What's good with y'all? It's your boy Jordan the Supreme, and I'm back with another video. And yes, we are here with a movie review of Fantastic Four: The First Steps. Disclaimer: if you have not watched the movie, go ahead and click off. Go buy you a ticket. Go watch the movie. Support, and then come back. Appreciate it. Let's get it.
Okay.
So, this movie takes place in Earth 828. In the beginning scene, we see Reed Richards looking for iodine. However, Sue Storm surprises him, showing the pregnancy test being positive. Now you can see the nervous and excited look they have preparing to take care of a child. We then go into the Ted Gilbert show explaining the origin story of how they went into space and came back forever changed. We see them showing their powers. They show a montage of them protecting the world. One of the enemies, being Mole Man, is defeated, and we'll get back to him. He actually does play a role in this movie. But we see Reed Richards as a teacher. Sue Storm is in a diplomatic role. And for Ben and Johnny, I guess they're just living a casual celebrity life as we see them in the magazines. I don't know about y'all, but I got an Incredibles vibe from this whole montage. Now, the beginning of this movie is mainly them being a family preparing for the arrival of the baby. We see Herbie baby-proofing everything in the Baxter building, and Ben getting irritated because there's new things in the way. He's destroying the cabinets and running over the baby gates and all that. But yeah, it's just them preparing. And during the preparations, we get to see some of the lifestyle from each family member. We see Reed Richards is always utilizing his brain with the translating of outer world audios, working on a teleportation device, and also making new suits. He's also taking every step to make sure his baby's healthy by running tests to check his DNA with Sue. You see Sue Storm is going on paternity leave. Ben is the most active and engaged with the people going outside and interacting with them. You see he's with the kids and they tell him to pick up the car. He picks up the car. They're saying, now throw it. He's getting ready to throw it. He pump fakes it. And, he's just out and about, interacting with everybody. He even gets cookies and all that. And then we have Johnny Storm being the annoying but funny family member. Overall, we get the whole family dynamic due to the arrival of Franklin Richards for about 20 minutes or so. But things start to shift once we see a storm in the sky appear and a female Silver Surfer appears to make a big statement. As she gathers the whole world around her, she has this statement to say: "Your planet is marked for death. I herald his beginning. I herald your end. I herald Galactus." And for the actor that plays Silver Surfer, Julia Garner, she did a great job as her. She doesn't get as much screen time as I thought, but every time we did see her, she looked really cool. Or farmed a lot, actually. She then tries to leave, but Johnny ends up catching her, and they have a moment, so to say. And she leaves him with a message. This is important for later on in the movie, but after this encounter, the Fantastic Four decides to look for Galactus rather than Galactus coming to them. As you see the shock of the city, they're in shambles. The Fantastic Four want to comfort and assure them that they will protect them. So, they take off and use the tracking device Reed uses for the female Silver Surfer. And as they read the tracking device, they see a planet. No sign of the Silver Surfer, no sign of Galactus. And then out of nowhere, the planet explodes. And you see it just completely disappear. A big ship just comes out and devours the whole planet. And then now seeing that there's another aircraft in the area with them, the big ship ends up abducting the Fantastic Four's ship. Then we see the female Silver Surfer again lead them to Galactus. But before we get there, Johnny asks what did she say to him in that last encounter? She ends up restating it, and it translates, "Die with yours." Something Johnny needed to pull off something crazy. And this was the moment I've been waiting for since the storm cloud incident. You guys, I'm telling you, dude, you don't understand. I was literally about to jump out of my seat once I saw the eyes light up. Guys, we finally got to see Galactus on the MCU big screen. And they really did a pretty good job with the presence in the movie. Him being how powerful he is, the design was great. It wasn't goofy like people would have perceived it was. The voice was great, very menacing. I recommend hearing it in IMAX. Almost everything about Galactus was cool. Shout out Ralph Ineson. To continue, Galactus figured they would come to make a bargain to spare Earth, and his only way to accept it was for them to give up the baby. He saw how strong Franklin was, having cosmic powers, which was an infinite source of energy. And he saw that he could be the successor. Now, obviously, they opposed, and they would end up having to flee from Galactus and the Silver Surfer, just barely escaping them. While escaping, Sue would end up giving birth to Franklin. And coming back from the field negotiations, you could see the worry from everyone as they do that post-interview. First question being, how did you defeat Galactus? Well, we didn't. And then they, of course, explained the situation, stating that they would have to give up too high of a price, which is their kid. And then you see the media saying, whoa, 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 just give up the kid, give up the kid. They're in a situation defending their kid and having to battle off this giant celestial while dealing with the media and the world coming at them. It's definitely stressful. And as you see in that last question, the reporter asks, are we safe? Reed Richards, he says, we don't know. And that led to the point where even people turned on them for not giving up the baby. There's even a test between Reed and Sue where it turns out that Reed actually thought about giving up the baby. Things definitely started going downhill until Sue finally comes out of the Baxter building to speak with the people. She lets them know how important Franklin is to her, and especially how important they are to her as well, and that they will fight. So, as we go into this next point, they bring the world together to plan for Galactus' arrival, and the main thing is to not beat him, but to teleport the Earth to another side of the universe to avoid him. They would set up the teleportation devices all over the world, but unfortunately, female Silver Surfer would come around and destroy all of the transportation devices except one. Now this, to me, is where Johnny becomes the MVP of the movie, reaching her to speak in her language that he was able to translate by himself. Listening to the outer world audios and getting that one translation from what she said. And they had a whole conversation. And I give Johnny a lot of props for that. And in that whole conversation, it's revealed that her name is Shia LaBeouf. As she's given that realization, she's filled with emotion. She takes off, preparing for Galactus' arrival. And before she leaves, she just gives the message of the Fantastic Four abandoning the city and just forgiving themselves later on. Now, obviously, we know that's not going to happen, and the Four have a change of plans to teleport Galactus and leave him stranded on another side of the universe, having Franklin as bait. Right before his land, Sue gets Mo Man to evacuate the city underground. And then as Galactus finally arrives in search of Franklin, literally towering over everything, getting the presents, trying to aura farm all over. In his pursuit to Franklin, the Fantastic Four try to lure him to the teleportation device, but unfortunately it fails. He's smarter than that. So he's on his way to relocate Franklin as the four of them try to stop him from grabbing their baby. Their attacks do little to no effect, and he ends up even grabbing Franklin. Here we get to see how strong Sue is, and she showcased it earlier on in the movie by throwing Shia LaBeouf around, but this is even more impressive. she pushes back and even overpowers Galactus into the teleportation device where Reed saves Franklin. However, Galactus tries to come back to where Johnny is about to sacrifice himself to push Galactus back in the portal, but instead, Shia LaBeouf does. In the aftermath, we see Sue has lost her life, but Franklin ends up reviving her, showcasing some of his power early. With the family back together, they are better than ever. Now, I'd like to give appreciation to the retro futuristic city they gave. The visuals were stunning. Galactus and Shia LaBeouf did amazing. Each cast member did a good job playing each character. I think Pedro Pascal embodied Reed Richards' intellectual addictions. Vanessa Kirby was the heart of the family. Joseph Quinn was my MVP. And even though we didn't get Playboy Johnny, this Johnny still came out well. Abon's The Thing got a lot of mixed review off of parents, but I think it was fine. Only issues was sometimes the pacing was a little off, and it's nitpicking kind of, but some of the CGI on Franklin wasn't the best. But overall, good movie. I gave it an 8.1. 7.7 plus the 0.4 for an actual Galactus. Yeah, we didn't need that cloud incident again at all. The movie has 2 credit scenes, a mid-credit and post-credit. The credit scene is the big one, introducing the big villain, Dr. Doom. And we don't get to see his face, but we see he has Franklin with him. I believe this will be the start of Avengers Doomsday. Can't wait to see it, but unfortunately, we'll have to wait till next year. And then that end credit scene, that was pretty much a tribute to Jack Kirby. Rest in peace. Great movie. I am excited that it's finally here. Shout out to the MCU. But that is all for my review. Guys, I appreciate you for tuning in, watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Of course, just drop anything in there feedback-wise, like what you thought about the movie, how'd you like it, what you expect from the MCU later on. And are we ready for Doomsday? Well, I mean, we got to wait next year. But, hey. I know I'm ready. I appreciate you guys. Peace.